This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Welcome to another episode of You Don't Know Billy Jack, a podcast series where we discuss some of the greatest matches of all time through the eyes of a non-wrestling fan. Jordan? Fan?
Non-wrestling.
Non-wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay, well, I don't
know if your notes might be
My
off.
notes are off. I've got bad notes. Well, you are Jordan, I am Drew. Both longtime friends. And well, that's what the show is about. Longtime friends watching wrestling. We'll get your thoughts after the match, after we watch it live on air, and see what you think of it. We're trying to find some kind of universal thread that connects the storytelling elements from the match to you.
Yeah, and the deeper we go, we're kind of bouncing the previous matches off of each other, and I think it's coloring the viewing a little bit.
I think it is
as we go, and
yeah,
that's kind of interesting in its own way.
Yeah, and that's part of it, because I mean you can only stay unaware for a match or two before you you start picking up on things, but that's kind of part of the experiment as well. So, are you sick? I'm sick. I think I've been sick throughout the entire podcast.
Yeah,
so.
I've kind of come in and out. Right now, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You kind of got hammered a little bit.
Yeah, it just... Between my allergies and my deviated septum and mouth breathing and colds and everything, it's just kind of...
Yeah.
It just kind of exists.
Well, and that weird cough that everyone got.
Yeah.
So it
lasted for 2 months.
Like a 2-month cough.
And then I got it again when I was
you re-upped all that.
Yeah. The re-up. Caught him on the re-up.
Dude, have you've seen that barber shop next to Cham's? It's called the re-up. It just goes, dude. It just goes. That thing is recession proof. Everyone's got to be at the re-up.
And there's shoes involved too.
I think there's some sort of swag. Yeah. And this coworker of mine, he lives around there, and he goes to that Circle K all the time, and he says all the Middle Eastern guys all have these tight fades.
That's so good.
Everyone in that area just has these tight fades from the re-up.
They probably all trade.
Yeah, I would hope. Yeah.
Did you ever work? I mean, I never had this happen, but did you ever work, or did you ever know friends who would, they would work in an area and they would trade?
Yeah, I'd heard of that. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Remember Amy?
Yeah,
Amy Wright from Isla Vista.
Yeah, so
she worked at the coffee shop. She would trade burritos at Freebirds for coffee.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then, in high school, the bowling alley and the movie theater were right next to each other, so they would trade bowling. Bowling and movies.
That's cool.
That's I love that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's also that's a good mall thing too.
Oh yeah, like
a KC type. Yeah, you can get heavy with the trades there.
Yeah.
It's neat.
I was talking to the Foster's Freeze people.
Oh,
I was asking them if they would go over to the brewery across the street. And they said, not yet. But I was saying, you guys should trade.
They just looked at you.
Floats. No, they like me over there.
Yeah,
that they have my soda ready for me when I walk up.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like an old man. You're like an old Vietnam vet or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyways, I don't really have much else to say. What about you?
So are we still reapproaching the rankings at the end?
Yes. Yeah. We will.
Okay.
We will.
Okay. Because
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna read them.
Okay.
Or read the rankings.
Yeah. You're just gonna need to help me out, and the listener at home needs to understand. It's really kind of difficult to recall a lot of these names and faces. So it doesn't mean I'm not intent on trying to take these matches in, but it does get a little muddled sometimes.
No,
so
but that's also part of it is what truly resonates with you.
Yeah.
Like I would wager to say Magnum versus Tully.
Yeah.
You can remember a lot of that.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I just feel bad because sometimes it's a little, it can get a little mixed up
Right.
in my head. But yeah, like you said, I guess maybe that's part of it too. So.
All right. Well, should we get going?
Yeah, what are we going to be viewing today?
So the match today it's Atlantis versus Villano 3, mask versus mask match. So we're back in the land of Lucha.
Okay.
This is from 3/17/2000. The company is CMLL, which is it's essentially the same company as the previous match we watched. In 1983, that was called EMLL. This is CMLL.
Okay.
So there was a slight change in ownership or something. I'm not exactly sure of the history, but
it's largely the same company.
Yeah. So that's what this is. The file we're watching, 44 minutes long. So we are going to just to reset again. We're going to do a live watch of the show. After that, we'll discuss anything that comes up along the way. We may deviate a bit, we may not. After the match, I'll ask a series of standardized questions, and we'll rank our matches with the others. Now, like I said, 44 minutes on this video, so we're just at where the announcer is fading out, and we're going to entrances right now. So if you want to watch along with us, you can. In 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, so we're on. So this is Arena Mexico.
Okay. Dude, this looks like that Cro-Mags show in New York when the spotlight's just kind of going and it's just like a million people there moshing.
The We Gotta Know video.
Yeah. So cool.
Yes. So there you go. So that's Villano 3.
Okay, Villano 3.
Yeah. Now, they've been feuding for a while. I've seen the whole feud.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember much of it.
Okay.
But you can get there without the feud.
Okay.
But it's just the way lucha feuds work is usually they just escalate to the point where, they'll do like trios matches, 6-man, 3 on each team. And then like a singles match, a few singles matches, maybe a one-on-one, then like a title match or something, and then
but it kind of like culminates in a major event.
Yeah, so these matches, the mask match or the hair match, mask versus match, hair versus hair, something like that. That's like the final ultimate match.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, like there's no title on the line here. But like getting someone's mask or losing a mask or losing your hair, these are like huge things in Lucha Libre, and especially a mask, because, that's how you're known. That's your entire gimmick. Mm-hmm. That's your entire livelihood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you lose that, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And so you get... Traditionally, you get a huge payday from it,
Because it's such a big deal.
Right. It's like there was one guy recently that lost his mask. He got paid supposedly like $250. Dr. Wagner Jr. And he's like super good looking. He's older. I think he's in his 50s, maybe late 40s, early 50s, and that's Atlantis.
Got it.
Yeah. So but he's got this like nice gray beard. He's all ripped, This like tight, like kind of old man haircut,
Is it kind of like a superhero losing his powers?
Honestly, I don't quite get the reference.
I'm just wondering, like, the dethroning aspect of, like, having your mask taken off.
Well, you kind of have to change. I mean, you can retire, or you have to shift your entire personality sometimes, And people still work without masks, of course, but it represents a shift in your career in some capacity. So this is Arena Mexico, and you hear the crowd. Yeah. So what are your interpretations?
Yeah. And there's obviously a lot of energy there in the crowd, and it's packed.
Yeah.
It's like they oversold that thing, I think, because it's like really packed.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm just feeling like, I mean, you can feel a little bit of the, like they're setting it up to be like a real thing, like a serious thing. Mm-hmm. It seems like the intros were pretty somber, like,
you could get the gravity.
They're not goofing around, and yeah.
And so that's Atlantis.
Okay. So just these guys could fight under a different could wrestle under a different circumstance, and it's not called mask versus mask. It's just like you try to pin the other guy,
right? And
it's just a wrestling match.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but a mask versus mask is like, I'm going to take your mask.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like a promotion like this, like how often are they doing this kind of event?
Meaning like a mask versus mask match? Once. I mean, a real big time one like this, once every couple years maybe. I mean, lucha is not a style that I really like it, but I'm not very familiar with it. So, so I could be. I think there are mask versus mask matches or big matches every year, but I think in terms of like huge matches, Villano 3 and Atlantis, these guys are huge stars. Those are much more rare.
Okay. That's a pretty nice card to pull out of your back pocket if you're a promotion.
Yes.
I mean, that seems like a pretty good event to have.
Yeah.
On the standby.
Yeah. And so,
what's this argument going on right now?
So they have seconds, like
guys a team that come
to
the
and so they're trying to get them sent to the back. And so so you can see the big gestures.
Yeah.
And something else you'll want to take note of is that a lot of these are 2 out of 3 falls matches. This is not. This is just a single fall.
Got it. Okay. How long has like Lucha Libre been around?
Oh, since I think 80, 90 years.
Okay.
A long time.
Okay.
I think the history of it is really, we don't know very much of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of oral tradition.
Yeah, I mean, it seems so, like, folky.
Yeah.
Like, even now, so you can imagine
yes,
what it was like, however long ago.
Yeah, and, people just weren't keeping records of it.
Right.
And, I mean, I'm sure there were newspapers and stuff, but, a guy in America trying to find a like a local newspaper from Arena Mexico. I think it's in Mexico City. I'm not positive though. Mm-hmm. But trying to find a local newspaper from the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Oh yeah. So sorry. So, what they did, they sent away the heel referee. Sorry about that.
No, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So not the seconds, but the heel referee.
Do people like in the crowd ever try to take off the masks of the wrestlers?
No. That's like a social contract.
Okay.
That, they just that just doesn't happen.
Okay.
But also, if they did, I mean,
yeah,
bad news. So I don't know if you can. I'm gonna turn this up.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, there's a lot of people there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's jammed.
Yeah. And again, Lucha Libre, the sound is always a little rough, but you can feel the energy, right?
No doubt.
You can hear it.
Definitely. I mean, they've been pretty ruckus, and like the match is just now starting.
Yeah. And something else, I said that guy, that Dr. Wagner Jr. lost his mask. He was like 50 or something. Mm-hmm. Another like kind of a trope of Lucha Libre is that the wrestlers don't get really, really good until they're in like their 60s. Or like their 50s or 60s, because there's a lot of them that are like incredible. And they're 55.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But if you watch, they'll do a lot of spins and some flips and stuff, but they're not landing hard like
it's not America. Doesn't have that gnarly head drop and all that.
Yeah. So like you watch and it's fairly controlled and soft, and it's a lot more like rolling.
Yeah.
And so pay attention, like who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. What the crowd reaction is like.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any indication of that right now.
Just like I don't know if this is right or not, but so Atlantis is the one in the white. What's the other man's name?
Villano 3.
Villano 3. I mean, it seemed like Villano 3 was getting more reaction.
Yes.
Like noise wise, but it seemed positive, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Mm-hmm. But and if you heard like when Atlantis had an arm bar on, he was getting booed.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're to pin the other man, not try to take his mask off.
Correct.
Okay.
And then it's after they're pinned, they know, okay,
this is time.
Yeah. And it doesn't have the grittiness of shaving the head.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Because that's like with the blood and the sweat.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Are there female luchadors, or I don't know what they're called? Are there females that wrestle in masks?
There are.
And I know it's kind of an ignorant question, but I've just never.
Honestly, I know there are, but honestly, I don't know in what capacity. Yeah, like I don't know if CMLL now has like female wrestlers. Like I know there are somewhere. But
yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't know very much.
So he's pulling at the mask, dude. He ripped that mask pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So they'll do that, and now you can see they're booing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He ripped Atlantis' mask.
And so that that obviously that's a real sign of disrespect,
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. Because, like I said, you're not supposed to do that until after the match.
Like you earn it, kind of.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw that their heads hit.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll show a replay. Yeah, so you can see. So see, he's real dazed now. Yeah, they'll. I think they'll show a replay at some point. But, and you can see he's bleeding now.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Here comes the doctor.
Okay.
You got the doctor coming out.
This guy's coming out with his huge white coat.
Mm-hmm. And so, one of my favorite things is a doctor being involved in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you love that.
Yes. I really do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So he's checking on him now. And so you were able to, like, in the first few minutes, what did you think of, like, the moves they were doing, the style? Okay, so hold on, we're getting a replay now. So watch.
Ooh. Yeah.
You see that?
He really dive bombed like right onto his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the opening few minutes of the match, what did you get? What kind of feeling did you get from that?
It's pretty theatrical. I know the masks obviously lend themselves to that,
but this is pretty different than the other lucha match that we saw.
Yeah.
That was much more punching and kicking.
The other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are more like, the moves were pretty exaggerated.
Yeah.
You know, like how they were rolling around together.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you said, it's kind of interesting. It's like, looked like the falls were softer.
Yeah.
So it felt a little more performative.
Yeah.
Which I like. I mean,
yeah. So you can see
now.
Yeah. So now Villano 3 is going crazy on him. Yeah. So now we're getting a little bit more of a different dynamic.
Definitely. I think like that's a lot different than what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty violent. And now Atlantis is responding, and he's holding the guy. So, what?
It's like a cradle, a pinning attempt, pinning cradle.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
So he like reversed that move.
Yes.
Then, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so something to be aware of is the you know, they do the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower. Here, you know. I don't know if that will resonate at all, but look at the
dude, he's jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White mask, but it's just turning completely red.
Yeah, and it's like pretty much ripped in half.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if that throws you off at all. Like, do you have any concept of like a cadence for a 3 count or not?
Not really, no.
Like that doesn't stick out to you as
exaggerated
or slow or anything?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Not at this point.
Okay.
But that was really only like the second real attempt, right?
Yeah.
So Atlantis is he's stumbling around.
Mm-hmm. And so you can feel a big kind of momentum shift between the opening minutes of the match and what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I definitely feeling
And so Atlantis, you can see, it's just he keeps bleeding more and more on the mask.
Yeah.
So these are submission moves, of course. You know that at this point. But look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, he looks pretty gnarly.
He looks like one of the Nazis in Indiana Jones.
At
the end with their faces melting.
Yeah, he does. It's pretty grotesque with the mask.
Yeah.
Because the mask being ripped like that adds a certain element of gore to it.
Yeah.
So it looks like flesh.
Yeah. Yeah, which is like, that's truly a great pro wrestling thing. You know,
you get the added. Yeah, you get that added. Dude, yes.
Yeah, there we go. So Villano with a real stylish pin attempt.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I like it a little more theatrical like that.
Yeah. But you can get, with the mask ripping, you know, you can get, it allows them to really convey a lot of like facial expressions and stuff that you know, you just get these little glimpses of it. It's a great like storytelling tool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you watch that movie Sallow?
No.
With Drake and Cameron that one time?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to be seeing that.
Okay. Have you seen the cover though? Do you know?
Maybe
it's a picture. It's a picture of a little boy being held, like his head is being held, and he's getting his tongue cut off.
Oh.
Is that familiar to you?
It's not, but
I
knew I didn't want to see that movie for a reason.
Anyways, there's a mask. A match with a guy in a mask, and his mask gets torn, but he looks like the facial expression he's making. He's in a submission hold, and he looks like that. It's pretty incredible. Rey Mysterio Jr. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
Why does Rey Mysterio sound that? I don't know if you're joking or not, but that does sound familiar to me.
No, yeah, I was asking. So he was a big. So this was the mask I'm talking about for people at home. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc '97 in WCW, which is a very famous match. But Rey Mysterio, he went on to WWF or E, and he was like a big star there. And I mean, around here.
Like our area?
Yeah. Well, because there's a large Hispanic population here.
Sure.
And if you talk to a lot of the people, like if they like wrestling, you know, it's Rey Mysterio.
Huh.
Like he was so huge.
Big crossover.
Yeah, for the Hispanic community.
So because I've heard that name before.
And he was a big star, you know? And so it's like, you know, they've got that's in WWE, they hadn't really had like a, you know, and he's Mexican, so they hadn't had a big Mexican star like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But you know, he sold like tons of his masks and everything.
Is that straight edge guy still around?
CM Punk?
Yeah, CM Punk.
No. You know, he tried to do UFC.
Oh, you told me about that.
Brilliant.
Oh man. Did he just get laid out like instantly?
Yes, instantly. The guy's like a terrible athlete.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, it's like it's awful.
CM Punk.
Yeah. So we will be watching one of his matches.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's not one of the greatest matches of all time.
Bummer.
It's in our final potpourri show.
Oh, okay.
We'll watch one of his matches.
See, now they're exchanging these holds on each other.
Yeah. Holds into pinning attempts. Yeah. Now, what do you think of this? What do you think of that style? Do you think it's like what do you think's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as they keep it like they have been with the pace, it's interesting to me. But when they really drag that kind of stuff out, I don't.
The holds?
Yeah, like submission based, and I don't know.
Like, is that what we're seeing now?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But they were flopping back and forth on each other.
Yeah.
And that I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd's been there the whole time.
Yeah. And so the thing to really pay attention to is the pinfall attempts, the pinning attempts. Is that something like if there's a match that you watched where it was pretty much all like on the mat submission type holds, but it was a lot of like back and forth? Is that something that would be appealing to you think? Or
I
not?
think so. If
Really?
there was a lot of energy to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a match, probably my favorite lucha match, or it's maybe second or third at worst. There's a wrestler called El Dandy.
Okay.
But he wrestles a match against Angel Azteca or Angel Azteca, but it's essentially like they barely they'll wrestle around on the ground and then they'll kind of get up and separate.
Yeah.
They barely do that. It's just all like one hold to the next to the
They're
next.
just on the ground going on each other.
Yeah. So I wonder. We won't. I don't think that would make for very good like live watch recording stuff.
Yeah.
That's one that I would be interested in seeing you watch or knowing what you thought of it. So it's been all these 2 counts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, I have. And I'm seeing the drawn out aspect.
Like, does this in the amount of like 2 counts and stuff, for instance, does this if you remember the Macho Man versus Steamboat match had that element to it?
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. I would have been curious if you would have gotten there yourself, but can you kind of see that comparison, I guess? Or is that something that you would have gotten to?
I think you'd probably have to leave me there a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you mentioning that match, I mean, it's pretty clear.
Right, yeah. Because that was all these 22 pin attempts.
Yeah.
14 minutes, whatever it was, It's like the Death Angel record. 256 riffs on the record.
Only you. 256 riffs on the right. So yeah, it's just like the Death Angel record. I was thinking the same.
Dark Angel, Jordan. Dark Angel. Did I say Death Angel?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. No.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah, Dark Angel. I don't know if I said Death Angel, but certainly I did not mean that. Dark Angel. Leave scars, of course.
Oh my gosh. He doesn't seem to be getting quite as booed.
Atlantis?
Yeah.
Correct.
It seems like for the past little bit at least, I mean, it's been pretty even on the crowd.
Mm-hmm. And so Atlantis, he's gotten a little bit of momentum here. He did a big dive to the outside.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know if you noticed him when he tried to run the ropes. He was real exhausted and tired.
Yeah.
So he did this instead, which is that's pretty genius.
Yeah.
From a storytelling point of view. You know who drummed on Leave Scars, Jordan? Come on.
I don't.
I'll give you a hint. God.
Who's God? Jesus? Did Jesus drum on the Dark Angel album?
No, Jordan. Gene Hoglan.
Who's Gene Hoglan? I'll give you a hint. God. Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
Okay, he did this, like, the throat, he did his thumb across the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a signature?
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't seen that yet.
Correct, yeah, and it's like a tarantula type hold.
Man, Atlantis really has to, like, work with his mask.
Yeah.
He keeps having to kind of
adjust
pull it.
Stuff. Yeah. So look at that. So they're trading these pin attempts and these kind of weird holds. Is that something, like, do you think the weird looking holds are cool, or is it just kind of whatever?
Yeah.
Or do they even register as weird to you?
No, they do. They seem like they're trying to work together, though, right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So, which I do and don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a large part of the style. It's just an accepted aspect of the style that it's largely cooperative.
Yeah, it really feels like it.
Yeah, and so you'll have these sequences where they're running back and forth and doing flips, or they're rolling on the ground or something, that they feel very cooperative because they are, but that's just an aspect of the style, and that's one of the things that people have a hard time with.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it's a context thing, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I kind of like it as a source of entertainment.
Sure, yeah.
And it feels like theater.
Yeah, and so you have to get. You have to get the drama from it in other ways.
Yes.
In like their facial expressions or like a larger story being told or something, And so you heard the crowd chanting for Villano again.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how they do a lot of the crowd shots.
Yeah.
Like individuals in the crowd.
Yeah. The very concerned citizens.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. This building looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Arena Mexico. It's one of the the most famous buildings in the world, wrestling wise.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to go to that. And so again, it's just the back and forth pinning attempts.
Yes.
This is much, the production wise, this is a lot better than some of the other lucha you'll see. Certainly the match from the early 80s that we saw.
No doubt about that, yeah. Oh, dude, the crowd's going crazy.
Yeah.
They love that move. Can you explain it? I wouldn't know.
It's like a fancy version of Lex Luger's torture rack for those at home.
He really slid up on his body.
Mm-hmm.
And so were they cheering for Atlantis at
yes.
that point? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is look at his mask. It's completely red.
Yeah, he looks really disturbing, actually.
Look at this. So we're getting a wide crowd shot now.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
So, would you have been able to watch this on TV in the United States at this time?
So this specific show, I think it was a pay-per-view, but I got, so Atlantis has him in that torture rack hold, again, whatever it's called, that backbreaker.
Oh, and then he submitted.
And that's it. That's it.
So he did the move again.
And he got it. Atlantis wins.
Atlantis wins.
And the crowd's going wild. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at everybody.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
Yeah. Look at, so it's like these old, look at this old woman just losing her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got, like on Telemundo and stuff, I don't know if it was CMLL or the other one, AAA or what, but I got Lucha Libre on TV, when I was a little, surely you did too. Like Telemundo and Univision.
Yeah, Telemundo,
I don't know how, like, the contracts worked or whatever, but, yeah,
it wasn't impossible to see this.
No. And so
everyone's going crazy right now.
Yeah, so and we'll watch some of this now because this is pretty interesting.
And now they're both being like really positive and like cheering each other and
and so you see all the fans coming up now to the
and he picked up a little guy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's his son or
somebody in the circle.
Yeah. Or he just abducted a child for all we know.
So when he first did that move, was that like a botched attempt? Were they gonna pin him at that point, or not necessarily?
No.
Did the ref really hams it up?
Yes.
Yeah,
which is something else that I love.
Yeah, me too.
Is when the ref when the match ends when the ref freaks out.
That's so funny. Yeah, he like loses it.
Look at that, and he falls over.
Yeah.
He's like Rocky jumping.
Yeah. Yeah. So explain in the beginning they were trying to get rid of the heel ref.
Yeah, so a lot of times there'll be two referees and there'll be a heel referee.
Like a bad guy ref?
Yes, yeah.
And how would they identify him?
Like he's wearing a red shirt.
And so were both of them like, no, we don't want this guy? Or,
yeah.
That's really funny.
I think.
yeah, that's really funny.
So they're interviewing Villano now.
And people are crying.
Mm-hmm.
Mucho tiempo yo estoy sufriendo. Yo quería una vez demostrar. Ahora Atlantis me ganó. Esta noche no es para siempre. Esta noche fue superior a mí. Pero no hay problema, me ganó bien. No hay excusa, no hay pretexto. Me voy a quitar la máscara porque así se pactó esta lucha. Mis respetos, señor. Algo que fue impresionante y lindo. Villano tercero fue el apoyo de este público.
So he's starting to take off his mask now. He's unlacing it.
Yeah.
Did you understand any of that?
Not at all.
Do you? Well, you don't speak any Spanish,
not
right?
Really. Yeah. I mean, I know enough to not get hurt downtown.
Why don't you tell the people at home what language you took in high school instead?
I took French.
Boo!
Yeah, I took the most useful language possible.
I mean, if you're gonna live in Southern California,
you've got to
take French.
You have to.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want to survive and get a good job, and it's all about upward mobility. So.
And famously, if you work for the county and you speak French, if you're bilingual in French, you get an extra 2%.
I'm sure. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So it's clap for Atlantis.
Yeah, yeah. And who is this, like an official that works there that took the mask off?
Yeah, I think so. So there he is.
And he's saying, "My name's Arthur Mendoza." Or
yeah, Arturo Mendoza.
Arturo. That was cool. It was really quiet when he was talking.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he said, my name's Arturo Mendoza. I'm 45 years old. Like,
yeah. Kind of revealing himself.
Yeah. Which is so, it's like a superhero revealing his identity,
Yeah. He looks jacked.
Yeah. And he still has his mask.
This guy?
Yeah. And he's won. He holds the record for the most masks ever won.
So you get to keep the guy's mask that
Yes.
you defeat?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't even know how many, but an absurd amount.
I wonder if they
awesome.
display them at their house or something.
Probably.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I like the masks. I like how they look. And
They're awesome.
It's cool that you get to do your own identity and design.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in a match in 2013. So this is 2000. 13 years later, he was in a match that was like the best match of the year. Another mask match like this,
Mm-hmm.
And that one, it's not as good of a match, but it's like the crowd and everything totally makes it. It's like it's wild. So we'll turn the volume down from there. Hey there, AEW superstar Wardlow here with just a quick announcement about everything that we have going on over at the Place to Be Nation and all the great content that you can find across our two wonderful podcast feeds. On the PTB and wrestling feed, we have plenty of great content, including the Place to Be Nation podcast, the mothership of PTBN, where co-hosts JT Rosero and Scott Criscolo take you chronologically through the history of WWE. PTBN main event with hosts Scott Criscolo, Nate Melton, and Steve Willie breaking down all of the current events in the world of wrestling. The Wrestling War Zone, a podcast retrospective reliving the iconic Monday Night Wars, brought to you by JT Rosero and Chad Campbell. Row 1, Seat 1, an interesting look inside the world of small-town wrestling and beyond, with host Ben Zanny welcoming a variety of guests each week. Talkin' WCW heads to Center Stage Theater, where Tim Capel, Greg Phillips, and Jennifer Smith pay tribute to the legendary promotion from the Dirty South. The Extreme Three-Way Dance takes you back on a trek through the land of extreme, with JT Rosero, John D'Amato, and Jennifer Smith. Body Press Your Luck, a brand new wrestling game show hosted by JT Rosero and Jordan Duncan. With This Ring, in which a husband and wife combo, Ryan and Cindy Everett, discuss their specific matches and their respective fandoms. You Don't Know Billy Jack, where Drew Wardlaw and his friend Jordan watch and discuss some of the greatest pro wrestling matches of all time through the eyes of a non-wrestling fan in search of a universal connection in pro wrestling storytelling. Now, how's that for a long-winded show description? Anyways,
Plus, we have monthly pay-per-view reaction shows and semi-regular shows like Jenny and the Gems, No Holds Barred, PTB, NXT, Adams Division, Special Relations, and Jeff Learns Wrestling. Also, be sure to check out PTBN Pop Feed, littered with great content, offering tremendous shows like the Hard Traveling Fanboys, the Year End Pop, Laugh In Theater, DC For You, Marvel Age, the Brother and Sister Rewatch podcast, and so much more. So subscribe today. And hey, while you're at it, subscribe to Jennifer Smith's The Jenny Position feed as well, as it is the new home of Geek and Sassy, Talkin' Pop, Freak Out Drive-In, Telling Stories, MCU Journey the Infinity, and more. Also, on our social media pages, the greatest sitcom of all time tournament is now underway. We are in round 1 still. There will be 4 matchups per day, so make sure to like our tournament page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter so you don't miss a single one. And we have officially kicked off our 2020 stretch project determining the greatest WCW match ever. You have all year to do research, promote your matches, and build your list. Conversation and rules can be found at www.facebook.com/GCWCW matches or on the Pro Wrestling Only message board. Be sure not to forget to check out placetobenation.com each and every day. We have new voices and fresh takes bringing you articles on topics in the worlds of wrestling, sports, pop culture, and beyond, including Trent's SmackDown on Fox Report, This Week in the WWE by John Crow, Paulie's Perspective, Jason's DVD Deep Dive, and Ben's Unpopular Opinion. And don't forget about veteran columns like Glenn Butler's Weekly Walk Around the Web. And if you're doing shopping online over at Amazon.com, please be sure to click on the Amazon banner on the right side of the PTBN Place to Be Nation homepage, or use www.placetobenation.com/Amazon, and it takes you right to Amazon and helps out PTBN with absolutely no cost to you. Hey, you can't beat that. Whew. Now that's all. Thank you for listening, and back to the show.
All right. So, Jordan, what did you think of the match? General thoughts? Number 1.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked it. I think I liked that style a little bit.
The Lucha Libre style?
Yeah.
Lucha Libre.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I liked... it's kind of funny, though, like, in the scope of what we've been watching and having watched other styles of, you know, this general world of professional wrestling, it's like... This kind of felt like something different in the sense that, like, I don't know how I'll stack it up against like the other wrestling matches.
Yeah, this is truly a different style of wrestling.
Yeah.
The Japanese version, like Japanese wrestling and American wrestling, it's very, very similar.
Yeah, exactly. So, that being said, I mean, I was entertained. It was, you know, it was a fair length, and it went by pretty good, and I like the right amount of gimmicks that they had, and and the crowd is like pretty
awesome crowd,
pretty unbeatable.
Yeah,
you know, they really were going the whole time.
Yeah. They didn't let up at all. So I guess, you know, you did like the match for those reasons? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, so you referenced that that Steamboat match,
the Macho Man versus Steamboat.
This is like a souped up like version of that for me.
Yeah.
In that, like, it was a little more to my taste, I think. But that kind of idea. You know, where they're trying to pin each other and submit each other the whole time, and but this is a little more. I mean, not like ridiculous, but like I said, it felt a little more theatrical, and it did feel like they were working out like together.
Yeah.
More like you were saying. I guess that's part of the style, but I don't know. I think that was kind of interesting to me. I guess.
Was that did that hurt it?
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
or is it hard to tell?
It's like. I almost might knock it down for that reason when we're comparing it to the other like wrestling matches we've seen.
Okay.
But when it comes to pure entertainment, I mean, not like being someone who doesn't watch wrestling. I mean, that helps it as an entertainment thing. I think a little bit, because we all know what we're seeing is fabricated already. So it's like that doesn't like offend my sensibility that they just exaggerate that even more a little bit.
Yeah. So what was the story that the wrestlers were trying to convey?
I mean, you could tell when they came out, like, for as flamboyant as they were during the match, they weren't really, like, hamming anything up to begin with. Mm-hmm. So you could tell it was serious as a match. And I picked up that they were cheering for Villano 3. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of funny. It got blurry, I think, you know, into it. At least, it's hard to tell. But, like, it didn't seem as obvious deeper into the match. Mm-hmm. And then when Atlantis was getting a couple of those moves in, the crowd was, like,
they
really
were losing it.
Going. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Like, the writing was on the wall, I guess.
Yeah. Now, can you see why this is considered to be one of the greatest matches of all time? Yeah,
I mean, it seemed like it had, if the criteria is, displays of athleticism and entertainment and drama and somewhat of an interesting pace, I mean, it had all those, so... I mean, I that's not a stretch for me. I'd be curious to see some more of these like mask matches,
these big
where it's like that's on the line.
Yeah,
because I don't know, but like it weighs heavier than some of the other stuff we've seen.
This weighs heavier to you than say a title match.
I think so.
Yeah.
Now with that post match stuff.
Yeah,
that was pretty heavy.
Yes.
The guy's got his kid there. And
he's
super
like
serious,
crying,
and he's like a family man, and like he's like, okay, guys, like, thank you all, and like, here's who I am, and like, thank you for, enjoying this and like supporting me, and like that. I don't know. That's pretty heavy.
Like that resonates more than like the All Japan, like we're two guys fighting for a title, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it does what we've talked about before, which is like. It dips in and out of reality there, because it's like, it's obviously this guy's life is this weird world.
Yeah.
And he's now closing a chapter, and it's really heavy, and yet he's also hamming it up, and he's like part of this industry and knows what the tradition does, and I don't know. So it's kind of interesting because it does weave in and out of reality, which is one of the things I'm liking.
Truly.
About that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's rank the matches now. Now, let me read off the matches to you, okay?
Yeah. Were we gonna do top 5, or were we?
Oh, that's right. So do you want to do? I forget. Do we want to do top 5? Just the top 5?
Yeah.
Because after the top 5, it kind of gets blurry and a little more arbitrary.
Probably do a top 5.
Okay.
But can I hear the matches and try to? Can you try to help me a little bit?
Yeah. So, Magnum versus Tully, Flair versus Steamboat, New Japan Gauntlet, Sangre Chicana versus MS1, Macho versus Steamboat, Bach versus Hennig, Tenryu versus Jumbo, Dream Rush Tag, Dream Slam. That was Hokuto versus Shinobu Kandori. The War Games 92, The Great Lost Episode. 6-3-94, 6-9-95, 6-3-94, Masawa versus Kawada. The tag match was 6-9-95. Sorry. 120.97 was Misawa versus Kobashi.
Mm-hmm.
Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. And then Atlantis versus Villano 3.
Okay. I'm still Magnum Tully is still the first one for me. I also still have a spot for that Bach Hennig one. I don't know where that... Can I just give you 5?
No, you got to rank them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one really connected with you. That's very interesting.
Well, there's something about it. Okay, then let me think. That's up there, but I don't know if that'd be number 2. Let me think. Can I see the list?
Yeah.
I think I liked the. I liked the Dream.
You liked the singles match.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna say Magnum Tully. I'm gonna say the Dream singles one.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna say this one number 3.
Okay.
Bach Hennig 4. And then what's the Misawa and the Dangerous K one?
The singles match?
Was that a singles or was that
was
just
a singles match. You liked the tag match more.
Okay, I knew those were both in proximity, so we'll go with the tag then.
Okay. All right. So you've got Magnum Tully number 1, Dream Slam number 2, Atlantis versus Villano 3 number 3, Bach Hennig number 4, 6'9" number 5. Mine, Magnum Tully number 1, Flair Steamboat number 2, 6'9" number 3, Sangre Chicana. Let's see, this is number 4, Villano versus Atlantis. Sangre Chicana number 5 versus MS1 number 5. So this match is like, it's just one that people watch it and think, oh yeah, this might be the best match of all time. You know. Like,
so a lot of people who like American wrestling, do they like this?
No, I mean you have to be a fan of Lucha.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think this is one that like. In fact, I think this is probably a match where if someone is not a fan of Lucha Libre, if they say, well, I don't like that. I don't like that kind of wrestling. I think they would barely think this was like a good match.
Like this wouldn't win them over.
No, not at all. No, but it's like people who know, you know, like that. I think the first time I watched this match, it was like, man, this might be the best match ever. Like it's awesome. I like that, how it's kind of a tale of two matches. How it's this feeling out, this kind of technical feeling out at first, and there's and it's just one fairly standard dive that shifts the whole momentum of the match, you know? And it's like, it's almost incidental. You know, it's not like he was necessarily trying to hit his head, but you know, bump heads. But that's the story that they played up,
and it just went from there.
Yeah, and so it being a one fall match, it then makes every single pin attempt really like have so much weight to it, you know. So it's like that. You've got the blood and the mask ripping, and like all like the visuals and everything.
Yeah, the crowd.
And the crowd is just like, it's one of those like flawless matches, you know. Like not my favorite match of all time, but like pretty undeniable if you're actually looking for like the story, you know what I mean?
Sure.
If you're paying attention,
right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty special, and like that. Atlantis trying to run the ropes, but being too worn out and kind of stumbling, and so he's got to go to the top rope to do a different kind of dive, you know?
Yeah.
That's a deep little detail.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Very good. Any plugs or anything before we go? What's the name of your son's or what's the address to your son's daycare? What days does he go?
No thanks. no plugs for me.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thanks though for the offer.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no plugs for me either. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Bye.
You're the cool nights of the desert and the hard kisses of the sun. Why is it that I don't believe you when you say I